What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. In this video, let's talk about 3 running failures I've had over the past 3 years since I started running. Only running for 3 years, so I don't have too many mistakes or failures. I definitely have the rest of my life to have more mistakes and failures. But whenever I think of failing, I think of really 3 times I failed and have documented on this YouTube channel. So let's go for a run and let's talk about those 3 failures and what I have learned from them. All right, so before we get into these failures, let's talk about 3 main goals that I have whenever it comes to running. One is running a sub 24-hour 100-mile race, which we have successfully done. Number 2 is running a sub 3-hour marathon, which we have not done yet. Number 3 is running a sub 5-minute mile, which we have also not done yet. Now, we have attempted these and we have failed. Now, I wouldn't technically consider them failures. I mean, technically yes, because we set a mark that we wanted to hit and we did not hit it, but I don't feel as they are failures because, you know, if you would have told me 5 years ago, hey, you would have run a 5:08 mile trying to run sub 5, man, I wouldn't believe I would have been able to do that 5 years ago because I was not interested in running and I hated running. But that brings us into failure number 1. Running a 5:08 1 mile whenever we were attempting to run sub 5. And, you know, just 8 seconds off. I wish I could have just knocked it out of the way so I would never have to run that fast again. But that's just not the way it went. And I learned a lot from it. I learned, 1, I don't necessarily enjoy running fast. I do enjoy like trying to learn what my body is capable of, what my mind is capable of, like keeping the foot on the gas, because running an all-out 1 mile is very tough and it's very intimidating to me. I would much rather toe the starting line for a 100-mile race knowing I'm going to run for 24 plus hours than knowing I'm about to try to run a mile in under 5 minutes and it's gonna be hell. It's gonna be pedal to the floor the entire time and it's gonna be a sufferfest. I also learned, hey, I need to be more knowledgeable whenever it comes to like how long to prep to try to do this, what kind of workouts I need to be doing to do this. So the next time I eventually attempt this, I definitely need to reach out to people who are more knowledgeable and who can help me be successful at this. But yeah, I learned I don't know a lot, and I learned I don't necessarily like running super fast. Let's get into number 2. So failure number 2 is going to come from DNFing Lake Martin 100 like a year and a half ago. And this one was really tough because I trained for 16 weeks, AKA 4 months, and posted a video or 2 every week telling you all how I'm going to run 100 miles. And during the race, 75 miles in, I ended up throwing in a towel and DNFing, running only 3 out of the 4 loops. And the one thing I learned from this, or the main thing I learned from this, was how regretful I was after throwing in the towel whenever I should have just walked for 12 more hours, however long it took to finish those 100 miles. And with that regret came a lot of determination to continue going and chasing the goal of running my first 100-mile race. And a couple of months later, I ran Chief Ladiga 100 and was finally successful at getting my first buckle and also running my first 100-mile race under 24 hours. So regret stings a lot, and I think that definitely helped keep me accountable this past race with Blue Heron 100, knowing how regretful I would have been if I did throw in the towel. Not only throwing in the towel for the race, but also with the proposal at the end, I would have been even more regretful if I would have had to DNF that race because I just couldn't handle it mentally. So if you're training for an ultra, if you're gonna train for 4 months for a single race, any kind of race, see it through, even if it's not as fast or exactly how you would have hoped the race to go. See it through because regret is real, and if you're anything like me, you'll definitely feel regretful after throwing in the towel unless you're like injured or something and it's smart to not go on. But if it's all mental, you just don't want to go anymore, keep going, man. After you finish the race, comfort, you can have all the comfort in the world, but just see it through, get to the finish line. Okay, so failure number 3 is going to come from at the beginning of this year on my sub 3-hour marathon prep to run the Myrtle Beach marathon. And I did not even get to toe the start line because of an injury, which was a hard pill to swallow. I trained for over 2 months. At the halfway mark, I ran the Mobile half marathon to try to run it at marathon pace to see if I was like, if my fitness was getting better, so I could see if sub 3 was even possible. And I ran a 1:26 or 27 half marathon, which was the fastest half marathon I've ever ran. So I was in high hopes for the sub 3-hour attempt, but a week or 2 after the Mobile half marathon, it was either my glutes or my lower back were wrecked and I could not even walk, much less run. So the hard pill to swallow, the thing I had to learn was that recovery has to be a priority. I'm 27, which is still really young, but I'm learning, like, I'm getting older, my body isn't bouncing back and recovering from like intense hard sessions as it used to. So I need to prioritize running. Harrison also joined my life and she has taught me a lot about recovery, which I can't lie, I still haven't been the best at it, but I have been more mindful of it. And especially whenever I'm going to be chasing a huge goal, like my big 3, a sub 3-hour marathon or sub 5-minute mile, whenever I'm prepping for those in the future, I'm definitely going to have recovery as a priority, and it has to be like non-negotiable. Like, we're gonna have to recover after each run or each intense training session. So if you're getting in your late 20s, if you're in your 30s or 40s, you probably already know recovery should be a priority, especially if you want to even toe the start line. And I'm learning that. I learned that the hard way. So don't make the same mistake I did. Go ahead and prioritize recovery so you can chase your goals. But yeah, that is going to wrap up the 3 failures I've had in the past 3 years since I started running. Hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and not join me in making the same like hard-headed mistakes. And if you got any value from this video, like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.